Greetings! Tony from Old River Hardgoods again. Music you are listening to is Mountain Morning from my third CD, Angels on Fire. Link to the Reverbnation page where it's hosted on, as well as an older YouTube video back in the days when I was still rocking a beard during the winter time, but you'll have this. And today's video talks about hammer restorations. Yeah, I did a hammer video early on, back in November I think it was, and I got a link for that one down at the bottom in case you didn't watch it or forgot what I was talking about. But we're going to take you through the steps of a few small ones and one big one, and hey, just generally have some fun. So sit back and enjoy. And one of our first projects we're going to take a look at is these two small hammers I picked up on my recent New York trip. This one's got a kind of funky but neat cast brass head. I'm not going to have to do too much with this one, just clean it up a bit and put a little bit of a wedge in there on the top of the handle. The handle's homegrown, hand carved, but it's kind of neat. This one's got a steel head with brass faces. That's going to take a little more work to dress that guy down. And I thought I saw it was signed, but I can't tell under the patina, so we'll find out once we start honking around on it. So that's where we're going to begin. People wonder why I cuss a lot. When you got a nice little hammer like this that somebody's got attached with these monster, I don't know what the heck they are, but they are so freaking hard. Nails of some sort, or I don't know. This one, when I kind of got loose enough, I can pull that out. This one I got to do some more driving on to try and get the mess out, but this by far is not the worst. There was one time I had a small hammerhead, no lie, I must have pulled at least 14 brads and nails and whatever out of an eye almost that size. Yeah, I mean it was all basically metal holding what little bit of wood was left on there, and that was another mess, but we will persevere. And last on today's agenda is going to be this hand forged 9-pound, actually 9 3/4, 9 pounds, 3/4 of an ounce, hand-forged cross-peen hammer. Small sledgehammer. As you can see, it's definitely got some patina, including some cement residue, which unfortunately a lot of these tools found along the way. But yeah, peen's got a little roughness. Face has got a little roughness, but boy, Tell you what, that's one old dog, to say the least. So we'll see how that comes out. Or should I say, let the cussing begin. Here we got these guys cleaned up a little bit. Pull the handle. It's kind of dry up there, so I've got to be careful when I slice it to make a slot for a wedge. And the head on this guy is kind of crude, but definitely different. This one here does have a mark. I'm thinking it's either an owner or the guy that made it. Looks like Russell. Unfortunately, there's some pitting on that spot. Of course, the faces are going to still need some work on that. And the handle's fairly good. I'll probably give this a wipe down with the brass polish before I'm all said and done with it. But that's the next step in this process. And here you see the pieces that came out. The one snapped off, so that made it a little easier to get that out. I still don't know what the heck these things are, but they are hardened and they are pain. Anyways, here's a little hammerhead, a little better look at it. And I still got a piece of the eye in there, or the hammer in there I got to knock out, but this ought to clean up real nice. And this is a little hand-forged jeweler's hammerhead, so we'll see what we can do with it. Let me tell you, when it's 87 degrees outside and probably 85 degrees in here, it ain't really the weather for doing this kind of work, but sacrifices I make for you guys. Anyways, okay, I got this guy first pass of cleaning on it. Lots of sanded with 100 grit, and don't spare me the noise about sand and scratches, because that's the last thing you got to worry about with something like as much patina as this guy has. That's what we got sitting on this piece of cardboard. And this guy is signed. Can't really make out the mark yet, but I guess we'll figure something out for it. Face not too bad. Of course, we get it dusted off. Lots of noise outside today, but you'll have this. So the next step in the process, while I was cleaning it, I hit it with the 100 grit sandpaper, and then I used the steel wire brush to knock some of the cement and other crud off, and then hit it with my brass brush, which I've shown on numerous occasions, and use a small parts brush to get down in the eye to clean things out a bit. Next step's going to be a trip back to the bathroom for a scrubbing with some hot water, the pot scrubber pad, to loosen up some more of the gunk on it before I take it over to the wheel. So, hi-ho, hi-ho. Back to these guys. This one I did some work on the faces. I had to resort to putting the grinding wheel on because it was very hardened, work hardened, I believe it's called. It ain't perfect, but what are you going to do? And this one, well, I cut the kerf for the wedge. Just got to fit that on. This is what I use. I believe these are Crown Tools. Very thin curving saw. It's got some pitting and scuffing, and really ain't sellable, but seeing what you can buy them for new. But yeah, I figure I'd keep it around here and use it, and it is kind of a neat looking tool. So let's get the wedge back in this guy, or get the wedge in this guy, and see where we're at. And now we're done. Head does still wiggle a bit. I couldn't get the wedge in too deep, and I'm afraid of splitting this wood because it's pretty dry. So, what? For light stuff, whatever somebody's going to use it for. But, hey, a pair of neat collectible hammers. We'll see who's going to be interested in them, but that's always a chance you take, right? And here we have the finished product. Cleaned up pretty well. I mean, there's some things, and light patina, a little bit of mushrooming back here on the peen, but yeah, don't worry about that. Turn around this way. Face is good. Some light things, but man, nothing too bad. But this is a neat little hammer, and definitely hand forged. They don't ship too often. I'm guessing, I haven't weighed it yet. It's probably about 2.5, 3 ounces at most, but and we'll see what she goes for when she goes for. And here it is after having a bath and a trip to the wheel. Now, as you notice, this is marked 12 pounds, even though it weighs only 9, but that would have been the total weight with the handle. That's how these guys were sold. It's 1/2 something there, and might have been a maker's mark there, but that's gone. But what is curious is this mark here. It almost looks like a patent date. Well, I'm not aware of any patent dates for hammers like this, but I guess we'll find out, right? So I'll have to blow that up with the regular camera. And there's a few dots there. I had to excavate some cement residue out of that, or stone residue out of it. Got a drill mark over here. More patina. More patina. Christ. This guy's got to be 125 years old if it's a day. So, yeah. And there's the face. Little mushroom to the one side, little chipping, but you know, that ain't bad. Not at all. So, time to give it the old wax treatment and call it a day on this one. And here we have the final product. A little brass residue from where I was scratching around with the brass brush, but I ain't going to worry about that. And all in all, this guy did not come out too bad. Now some folks say, well, what do you need a hammer that heavy for? And some folks will say, wow, that's a good weight. So it just depends on your point of view. And of course some folks will say, well, I can buy a new one for XXX. Well, you want to use a tool that was made from last year's washing machines. They've been recycled someplace, who knows where. Be my guest. Because this is a good, solid hunk of wrought iron and steel made by American hands. And that's how we like them. Well, a 48-degree Fahrenheit morning at the flea market sure didn't turn up much in the way of tools, but I managed to snag a few things. So, got a kind of rough 2-inch framing chisel. Socket's got some character, and the handle's definitely a work of art, but I should be able to save something out of it. Cobbler's hammer, got some patina, lots of extra hardware holding the head on. A little, forget the maker of these. Little brass hammer, a little banged up, but not too bad. Hand forged farriers, upset hammer, I think these are called. This was for making the grooves in the horseshoes with. Not that anybody would be interested, but what the heck. Small perfect handle screwdriver. Tip's got some character going on it, but those are getting few and far between. This one's a bigger one, marked Jordan, Germany. Perfect handle screwdriver. See, a lot of all these smaller ones are made in Germany. You don't see too many of the bigger ones around. And this one I might have paid too much money for, but I thought it was neat. It's a small belt hatchet. No maker's name on it. Somebody did a usual stick the hand on with everything they had in the toolbox, but it'll clean up. It won't take too much cleaning. So, hey, what are you going to do, right? Well, today was another soft morning at the flea market. I tell you, it's getting worse and worse, but what are you going to do, right? It was hot. I mean, it was 70 degrees at 5:30 in the morning, and it's heading up to 90 today, so I don't blame folks for not coming out. But there were some people there, but just the good stuff wasn't much to be had. Well, one of the better finds is this late 1940s, early 1950s Diston D23. Yeah, it's getting shaded out there, but you can see the etch. 5.5 point ripsaw. Not too bad a shape. There's a bit of the obligatory paint on the tote in the back, and back blade's got some stain. Run a little steel wool over that, but that's not too bad. A bullet mold. I didn't really size this guy yet. Probably a .36 or something in that era. but it's definitely an older one because it doesn't have the sprue cutter. A horned scrub plane. Definitely has been used, that's for sure, but no serious flaws. Iron's got some mushrooming on the top, but we can make that look right. This is the other pretty good find, despite the paint. It's a Stanley Sweetheart number 77. Mortise engaged. It is signed, which is something you don't see too often. So this guy's going to clean up right fine, and it wasn't cheap, and it ain't going to be cheap. But, you do what you got to do. 3 tool handles. None of them have a complete set of bits, so I'm going to have to scavenge around and see if I can get some bits. But the caps are all good. Chucks, I didn't mess with the chucks. We can always figure something out there. So, and the last one, the pickings. This was done in the darkness, but came as a pile. Buck Brothers, 1 inch firmer, I guess. Handle's been repaired. It's going to take some cleaning. A Craftsman paring chisel. Basically bought that for the handle. A Buck Brothers cast steel butt paring chisel, 1/2 inch. Not too bad. That should clean up okay. And a small ratcheting screwdriver. I didn't see a mark on this one. It looks like one of the Yankees. It's got the same paint scheme on it, but can't say for sure until we get some of the crud off of it. So, hey, not a big pile, but at least I'll pay for the gas, I think. That's all for this one, folks. As always, I hope you enjoyed my little presentation. I hope you learned something. And if you like what you're seeing, please hit that subscribe button to be notified when new videos are posted. Have a great day, and bye.